Welcome back to Prep Station Biology UTME 2025. As we were saying, we're looking at some of the past questions under homeostasis. And what do we have here? It says aged erythrocytes are destroyed in the, now, aged, old erythrocytes, old red blood cells. Okay, of course not in the pancreas, liver, lymph nodes, and kidney. Now, our answer is liver. If you have seen liver before, yes, I'm sure some of us have eaten liver before. If you have seen liver, you will discover that it has a good supply of blood. Yes, it has a good supply of blood, even from the color. So it is because of the activity that the liver is carrying out in the body. Okay, the next one. Which of the following produces both hormones and enzymes? When I was talking the other time, when I was talking about the function of pancreas, I said the pancreas is the only organ in the body that can secrete hormone and also secrete enzyme. So we have ileum, pancreas, gallbladder, and kidney. Now let's quickly look at one of the activities of pancreas. Let me see if it is here. The pancreas has two main functions: an exocrine function that helps in the digestion and an endocrine function that regulates blood sugar. Now, it also secretes enzymes. The pancreas secretes lipase that will help you to work on fat. It secretes protease. It secretes amylase. It secretes chymotropin or trypsin rather. Now, all of these are enzymes. And when you talk about the hormones that the pancreas will secrete, we have insulin, and we also have glucagon. Now, these two helps in maintaining sugar. They try to help you balance your sugar level. Okay, now let's look at the next one. The under-secretion of thyroxine in children results in, when you say under-secretion, it means hyposecretion. It means the quantity is not normal, it's not enough, it's low. That means we can actually do better. So when you do not have that, now what will be the result? We have goiter, we have gigantism, we have kwashiorkor, and cretinism. Our answer is cretinism. It has a way of affecting growth. Like it has a way of affecting growth. Now look at the explanation here. Congenital hypothyroidism. You can see they do not even use under-secretion. Congenital hypothyroidism, previously known as cretinism, is a severe deficiency of thyroid hormone in newborns. It causes impaired neurological function, stunted growth, and physical deformities. If you have seen someone who is suffering from this disease before, when you see them, number one, they look very, very small, and some part of their body will not be completely formed. Okay, so let's move on. Now, use the diagram below or by the side to answer this question. From the above diagram, it can be appropriately deduced that A, the body temperature in 2 varies with that in 1. Body temperature here and this one. If they say varies, let's say it is inversely proportional, right? Okay, then the next option, the body temperature in 1 is independent of external temperature. Now, remember that this is external temperature, right? And this is the body temperature. External temperature, body temperature. If you look at this one here, you will discover that this body temperature is constant, right? So regardless of what is happening here, it's not affecting this guy. If this one should keep going up like that, if it comes down, it does not affect this. So I believe it is independent. So our answer should be B. The body temperature in 1 is independent of external temperature. So no matter what is happening around, the body temperature of whoever owns this remains constant. Nothing happens to it. In this case, let me say, maybe the person is no longer a living being. Yes, it's no longer a living being. So regardless of where you keep the person, unless if you want to completely burn it, yes, the body temperature stays. Because normally, it's supposed to vary. There's supposed to be a slight adjustment. Okay, so let's look at the next one. The following are functions of the liver except deamination of amino acid, storage of bile. I told you about this earlier, the A. The amination of amino acid is there. Storage of bile is there. Manufacture of blood plasma, no. Production of it is also there. Our answer is C. The liver does not manufacture blood plasma. Liver doesn't do that. That's not part of the functions of liver. Okay, our next topic is nervous coordination. Nervous coordination. So we'll be learning how your nerves, your brain, how they work together, how they help you to maintain your balance, they help you to do some of the things that you do. Okay, now it's the process by which the body's parts work together to respond to stimuli. I'm sure some of you would have, at a point in time, or maybe you are in class and you discover that, oh, today is kind of warm, and can you please on the AC, on the fan, or you just look for something to cool down the body temperature. Or let's say, oh, the place is chilly, I need to wear my jacket. You get it now. Why do you do all those things? You need to pay attention. Everything that you do every day, they have function. There's a way you can relate them to what you do in biology. Yes, everything that you do, you discover that, okay, you are cold, feeling cold, or you're catching cold, and you want to wear a jacket. Yes, why are you wearing it? It is because you want to balance the temperature. You want your body to be okay. You want to maintain a fairly constant temperature that will support some of the organs that you have in your body. Because anything that you do, you are not just doing it for yourself. You are doing it for those departments that you have inside you, the organs that are working. Okay, so it involves the brain, it involves the spinal cord, and your sense organs. I'm talking about those guys, the key factors in this nervous coordination. We have your brain, we have the spinal cord, and you have your nerves, right? You have your nerves, okay? All of these are working together. All of these are working together, and there must not be a misunderstanding. One cannot say, no, I'm not going to join the rest. It's going to affect the entire organism. Okay, so these body parts, they work together to maintain the homeostasis of the body. We just finished homeostasis, right? So all of these are what help you to maintain the homeostasis. And they are divided into, so what am I talking about? Your nervous coordination, this is nervous coordination. Nervous coordination can be divided into, we have the CNS. By this time, you should be aware of what CNS is. And we also have the PNS, which is the peripheral nervous system. Okay, we have the central nervous system, which is the CNS, and it is composed of the brain and the spinal cord. So your central nervous system is made up of the brain and the spinal cord. And your brain is further divided into forebrain, midbrain, and the hindbrain. Now, I want to advise us that you go look through the forebrain, hindbrain, and midbrain and get to know what they do. Let me give you an example. There's a portion of the brain that controls only voluntary actions. There's a portion of the brain that controls some activities in your body like digestion, like breathing. If you look at all those activities, those two I've just mentioned, you do not have control over them. They are just taking place, like blinking. You cannot control them. Yes. Then we also have, now, the spinal cord, which is a bundle of nerve tissue that runs from the base of the skull to the lower back. I'm talking about your spinal cord. Now, it is part of the central nervous system and is responsible for carrying messages between the brain and the rest of the body. Now, what am I talking about? When you talk about this spinal cord here, right? Now, the most important part of the spinal cord here, okay? Now, you have your nerve cells, right? Your nerve cells. Now, the nerve cells can also be divided into what we call neurons. And also, your neurons can still be further divided into three. We have the sensory neurons, we have the relay neurons, and we have the motor neurons. You can see that it is not just the way it sounds. No, there's so much attached to it. So I said I said it is part of the central nervous system and is responsible for carrying messages between the brain and the rest of the body. So if these are connected to your spinal cord, then all of these are working. Now let's take for instance, we have the president in the country, we have the governors, then under the governors there are still some people that are working. The governor is responsible to give feedback to the president. So if you have the spinal cord here, the spinal cord gives the responsibility to the nerve cells. The nerve cells will now look at all the neurons and share the responsibility for them. Now, so each neuron now has a certain responsibility to perform, but the ultimate aim is that messages are transmitted. In this case now, those messages are sent as impulses. You get, messages are transmitted, they go to the brain would help you to coordinate, to interpret and give feedback and send it back to the nerve will send it to the neurons and the neurons will take it to the effector cells. Okay, so let's move on. So let's look at the neuron. The neuron is the basic unit of the nervous system, and it is responsible for the transmission of impulses within the body. Don't forget, this is the basic unit. It is the smallest unit of the nervous system. The smallest unit of the nervous system is this neuron, which means if a neuron is misbehaving, it is possible that the nervous system can also misbehave. So if a neuron is not performing its duty as it should, it can affect the entire body. Okay, now what are the features of neuron? So the neuron has a cell body. Where is the cell body? This is the cell body here. It has dendrite, dendrite, this is it here. And it also has axon. Now, this is the axon here. Now the point is, this is where the neuron has its nucleus, and this is like a connecting cell from this neuron here to another neuron. They connect at this place. They also connect here too. Like if information is coming here, this guy picks it up and it also connects another one, because what is happening here is actually transmission of messages. So it is coming from a neuron. This guy picks it up, it goes to this place, send it to another guy. So information is sent and it's also very, very fast. Very, very fast. Let's look at this again. The cell body consists of the nucleus and the cytoplasm. The dendrites conduct impulses to the cell body, and axon carry impulses away from the cell body. So it comes from this, goes down, it gets to this guy, from there, another neuron picks it. Okay, let's look at the types of neuron. I talked about this earlier. I said we have 3 types. We have the sensory neuron, we have the relay neuron, and the motor neuron. So let's look at what they do. The first one is the SAR neuron. I call it SAR so that I can easily remember. Maybe you can use that to SAR. Now, this SAR is not the SIR, it is SA. Why? Because it is a sensory neuron and it can also be called the afferent neuron. It is a sensory neuron and it can also be called the afferent neuron. Now, it transmits impulses from the sensory cells towards the central nervous system. So this is the neuron that picks up the signal because it is connected to your sense organs. It is the first point of attraction, first point of contact. Anytime a stimulus is entering the body, let's take for instance, look at my skin now. If anything is burning, like let's say something sharp pinches me, my skin feels it. Now my skin has abundance of sensory neurons. So it picks up the message and it sends it straight to the brain. Are you there? So the brain will now tell me what to do. Guys, something is pinching you and you still want to leave your hand there. Remove it. You get? So I move the hand away from there. Now, removing the hand is actually a response that came from the brain. But in this case now, if it is something sharp that is pinching me, that's supposed to be a reflex action. We don't need brain because it would something that would happen very, 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 very fast. Let's take, for instance, you're in a place that is hot, right? Of course, you'll be feeling it. No, the atmosphere is not conducive. What do we do? Asking yourself, what do we do? It's like a signal sending. The signal is going away because your sense organs have already felt it. And they're sending it to the appropriate quarters so that they can bring it from, they can give you the necessary response that you need. Are you there? Okay. So we have the motor neuron. I call it me. I call it me. Motor or efferent neuron. Motor or efferent neuron. And it transmits impulses away from the CNS to the effector. I'm going to draw a diagram of all this, but I think we should just take a short break. We'll continue when we come back.